Let's call the meeting in order, please. And I just want to make everybody aware that's using the microphones that to talk into our microphones, because I've heard some complaints they can't hear as well, even at home sometimes. So just everybody here be aware to talk directly into the microphones. Take the roll, please.
Mayor Zakowski.
Here.
Alderman Kittle.
Here.
Alderman Vreeze. Alderman Weinmeier.
Here.
Alderman Gartner.
Here.
Alderman Volkert.
Here.
Alderman Montello.
Here. Pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Public comments, we have one, Angela Olson. You want to go up there, Angela? State your name and address, please.
Angela Olson, 1585 84th Street, New Richmond. I'm here on behalf of the New Richmond Hockey Association. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I did see on your new business that you are considering our temporary alcohol beverage license, and I read the memo, which I was very impressed with. I think it's very accurate, sets forth the facts of what we've done in the past couple years, what's occurred during our licenses or during our times of serving, and then just other information about other associations or organizations that do serve. I also understand that's being taken up tonight in new business, I believe, for our being approved. What I'd like you to consider is that a potential denial is very surprising. We've had our license now issued to us for a number of years for the adult tournament. Last year, we also had our license issued to us for youth tournaments. There was no issue. We submitted our application, had licensed servers on staff. It wasn't even questioned. So this year, we did expand our request for additional dates to serve, still within the guidelines, still within the allowable timeframes. We have a licensed server for each tournament that's required by the board. Every team must have a licensed server. The association pays for their licenses. I think at least two that are on the agenda today to be approved are two of our servers. We've never had any issues with alcohol being consumed, overserved. There was one police call last year which had nothing to do with alcohol. So again, we're very surprised that this is on the agenda to even be considered being denied, and we've heard that there are some votes no already. And while it's not technically ex post facto, it feels like it, because we've complied with all of the rules, we've not been denied before, and we've now taken measures to make sure we even have more protection to comply with statute, to comply with city ordinance. We've done in-kind exchanges with the American Legion for their refrigerators that they couldn't use. We've expanded our Tiger Den to now just be to serve not alcohol, just beer and seltzers during specific weekend dates. We've moved our apparel downstairs. It's a set-off area, and we've actually spent money. We continue to spend money to do this, and now to have it denied, again, feels like it's being denied after we've already complied with all the rules, which next post facto action isn't constitutional, which I understand you have to approve it every year and every application we have, but we've never been denied before. We've more than doubled our revenue from being able to serve beer and seltzers at tournaments, which is huge for us. As you know, we are in the process of expanding our facility. $10,000 is a lot of money, and that's what we had a gross profit of last year. We've met with the downtown establishments. I know there's been some concern with taking business away from them. That's not the case. We're talking about parents having a couple beers for an hour during a game, and then we push them downtown. We provide them coupons for Champs, for Mallards, for Randy's, for Newts and Oz's. We have them set up team lunches, team dinners there. We don't serve a whole buffet and full bar. This is something that's just a compartmentalized allowance during these tournaments. So we're not taking away any business. We've actually increased our cooperation with the downtown establishments, going back and forth that way. I've also heard some concerns about being a slippery slope. While I am a lawyer, and I get that the slippery slope argument can be used, it can be used for anything. This is not a situation where you're going to have every youth organization saying, all right, we want to serve beer at our wrestling matches or soccer meets or football games. We have a different kind of facility. It's closed off. It can't be, beer and wine, or beer and seltzers can't be consumed throughout the entire premises, only upstairs. It's monitored, there's signs everywhere, and we heavily police that. So this is not a situation where soccer was gonna say, well, hockey can do it. Soccer can't be closed off to serve in a specific area.
Excuse me, Mayor, Jim and Angela, we're at our time.
We get 3 minutes for conversation. So if you want to wrap it up quick.
I will wrap it up quick. Our entire association of members voted to approve this. This is our association that we asked our members, they approve it, they pay their dues. Also, the Wisconsin Area Youth Hockey Association, through the guidebook, also approves what we do. So we're not this rogue entity or organization. We've complied with all the laws from the city, through the state of Wisconsin for hockey, and through our own membership. So we'd ask that you approve it as you have in years past. Thank you.
Next item is consent agenda, and I'd like to mention that first that we, from Abilene Swanson, we got a $12,000 donation for the library, and also Monarch Paving gave the Richmond Fire and Rescue $1,000 also. So I just want to mention those two. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Questions at all? Not? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. We'll go on to new business now. Recognition of the Good Samaritan, and that's Julio Mori.
Mayor, Council, welcome everyone. Today is a very special day. We don't get to do this very often, kind of thankfully, I guess, but when time goes by and we have a citizen that goes above and beyond, I think we need to recognize them, especially when there's a potential life-saving event and an effect on someone's livelihood and life. I feel we need to recognize, and tonight I want to recognize Julio Mori. Julio's here tonight. I'll have you come up in just a minute. I won't make you stand up here. But on August 30th, 2024, at the intersection of Wall Street and Highway 64, there was a terrible crash in which a young lady was severely injured. I heard my officers talk about the severity of the crash and that the subject involved would be lucky to survive. The officers also talked about an innocent witness to the crash that rushed into the scene to help someone he had never met. This is how my officers describe Julio's heroic response. Julio was on scene prior to our arrival, and we witnessed him utilizing emergency medical techniques, holding pressure, stabilizing the subject's head and neck, assisted with removing the subject to or help untrap her legs and help carry the patient to an EMS stretcher. I was told by Officer Mike Kruba, who's also in attendance here tonight, that he believed Julio's quick, calm, and professional actions and assistance gave the subject a much better chance at a positive outcome. Well, miracles happen. We now know that the subject injured so gravely in this crash has made a miraculous recovery and actually walked in here tonight and is sitting here in the front. You can wave. When I asked her about providing recognition to Julio, she was all for it, expressed her gratitude to Julio, which I, again, witnessed out in the hallway. In today's day and age, many people would simply drive by, not wanting to get involved. But it takes a very special individual to go above and beyond, put themselves in potential harm, and help a stranger in a life-threatening situation. So Julio, I'll have you come up here now. If you want to bring her with you, you certainly can. But on behalf of the men and women of the Richmond Police Department, the mayor, members of the city council, we'd like to thank you for your efforts on that day. I think I can offer gratitude as well. But it takes citizens like you to make this an amazing place to live. We know that in times of need, it's our neighbors, strangers that we lean on. So as a token of our appreciation, the mayor and I would like to present you with this plaque that reads, Hero, presented to you, Julio Mori. They're hard to read in these packages. For risking your life to save others. Your efforts are extraordinary. Our community is forever grateful for your heroic actions. Thank you for being the hero we needed.
You.
Thank you.
Next item is temporary alcohol beverage license.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I'll start with some background information about this, and if there's any more specific questions for our city clerk or our chief of police, certainly feel free to ask away. Just for some background information, this item came to the council last month. It was referred to the Public Safety Committee just for some additional discussion, then it was brought back to you tonight. The dates for the tournament weekends are included in the memo. One of those is the men's tournament. You can see the various dates listed. December going into the spring of 2025. The New Richmond Youth Hockey Association has previously received the temporary Class B liquor license for the men's tournament for more than 20 years. And then last year was the first year that they applied and received a license to serve for all of the weekend tournaments, with the exception of the WIA events. So alcohol is not served at the high school events. In terms of some of the discussion at the Public Safety Committee meeting, there's some discussion just about how this relates to other or compares to other associations in the community. So the New Richmond Millers and the New Richmond Softball Association both have a license to serve alcohol. So at the New Richmond Millers home games, as well as at the adult softball on weekends. And last year, while there was one incident or altercation during the season, it cannot be attributed to the alcohol sold to that individual. The police department, with all of our license holders, does unscheduled inspections, just to make sure that folks are complying with rules. Those were completed last year. There were no issues found at any of those times. In terms of possible action for tonight, the council could approve the application as presented. The council could also deny or approve portions. So if you only wanted to do the men's tournament or only certain dates, you could also postpone discussion. If you wanted more discussion, wanted to have an additional meeting or to wait till the next meeting in January, you could certainly do so. So just a general overview. I don't want to read the memo for you word for word, but if anyone has any questions for myself, for Michelle, or for Chief Yalick, we're happy to answer.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to make a motion, and then we can get to some discussion. But I move we approve the men's tournament for 5/9 through 11.
No, it's March 14th through the 16th. Look at the asterisk.
Oh, sorry. March 14th through the 16th. Thank you for correcting me that.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
I don't have any problem with the motion as it's being presented. I think these dates are necessary for the hockey. As much as I don't like helping hockey with all their money, I have no problems with it. It's, has there been any problems, Chief, with any of these dates?
The dates that they had on the schedule last year, like Noah was saying, we didn't have any incidents that I can contribute and say that alcohol was a primary factor in any of it.
At a
You know,
downtown,
I've been around the Hockey Association, not so much in the last few years, but my entire career here, and I've seen things just like we saw last year prior to alcohol. Like I said, I don't think I can attribute to any of it. We did do a number of unscheduled walkthroughs in plain clothes and in uniform. We didn't discover any violations during any of the tournaments. You know, we've actually had some events, I can't think of any last year, but in the past where people are drinking outside the establishment, but I don't think that had anything to do with the Hockey Association or what they were serving at any time. The men's league tournament is usually, well, I think it was Angela's term, policed, and stuff like that. So, you know, as the police chief, I can't point to anything that happened last year after the council approved the dates that they had that causes me concern from an enforcement standpoint.
and as a downtown bar, can a kid go in with his parents to the downtown bar and hang out with the parents down there?
Yeah, I think we see it all the time.
Perfectly
at-
legal?
At Champs and any of the other bars that serve food and have events. I mean, we see kids in those establishments all the time.
All the time.
So, I'm okay with their request here. For example, last Thursday, I have a number of grandchildren, and we went downtown, and we went in one of the local establishments down there. There was probably 50 kids in there. Everything was fine. Their parents were looking out for them, and I look at this more as a parent issue. If the parents from the Hockey Association, they're the ones that are responsible for their kids that when they're there. I think that's what the issue is here. So personally, I don't have a problem with.
And every little bit helps for the Hockey Association. They need the money. That's,
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to call for the question relative to the motion that's been made and seconded.
This part is strictly for the adult.
Yes.
Okay, we can finish that one off, okay? We're approving the adult part, and now we can bring the other part back if you want to approve it or not. For the adult dates. The adult dates.
that's not what their
The
application says.
But that's the motion that's been made and seconded, and I'm calling for the
They're-
question.
They're approving that one now, but you can bring the other one back for the other dates. Any other questions on that?
Call for the motion.
Alderman Kittle?
This is for the
This
seniors.
is a vote just for the March dates.
Well, then
of
I'll
the
vote
men's
yes, I
tournament.
guess.
That's a yes for Kittle?
Yeah.
Alderman Freeze?
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier?
Oh.
Alderman Gartner?
Yes.
Alderman Volkert?
Yes.
Alderman Montello?
Yes.
That motion passes. Now you want to make a motion to approve, Craig, for
Well, I would
the,
make a motion to approve their application as
the-
presented.
for the youth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Being,
Second that.
being there has not been any issues in the past. We have set precedent with this already. We've set precedent with this with other organizations. I don't have any problem with any of these dates. I mean, there's never been any troubles.
And
Sorry, is there a motion and a second on the floor?
Yeah.
Yes.
there are.
You're calling for discussion now? Okay.
And at first, when I first heard about this, I thought you were selling it in the stands. But now that I hear that it's an enclosed area and there wasn't any problem, and I know how hard it is to fundraise, I've done a few of those already, and I know it's not easy. I can support this because I think it's worthwhile and the parents are there. And since the chief said there haven't been any problems ever, and they even come in plain clothes to check it out. To me, it's worthwhile having them do it this year again, and let's see how it works out.
So Craig, I want to ask you a question. You said we've done this before. Other than last year, what other organizations have we approved the sale of alcohol at youth events?
Well, at their events, Hatfield has the same exact permit. The Millers have the same exact permit.
Youth events? For youth events?
Well, no, but youth go to these events. Youth go to the,
No, but we're talking about hockey tournaments that are for youth. It's interesting, the WIA
the
doesn't
alcohol's
allow.
not for youth. We're opening bars downtown that's not for the youth. It's for the parents to go down there.
You're not serious, are you?
Yeah.
Of course, we don't open bars downtown for the youth, but then why do we have alcohol for sale at a youth sporting event? It's interesting, the high school wouldn't allow it, the WIA doesn't allow it. I don't really understand, and I'm gonna ask a question. I
Not
understand.
allowed at the WIA
Hang on a
events,
second,
correct?
please. I understand you said, Angela, $10,000 last year. If I got this right, $6,000 of that, 60% came from the adult event. Okay, $4,000 came, so $6,000. And what's the total, revenue isn't the right word, but I'm going to use that word for the Hockey Association. What are we talking about total? The whole association, what people pay in dues, what you have for gate receipts?
What's your budget, I guess? Is
Yeah. Okay, so $6,000 comes from the sale at alcohol at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different events. But we're not talking about $10,000. We're talking about $6,000, correct? Yep.
Nor at WIA events. Not school games.
So,
Yep.
so Mike, I agree with you. We don't do it with other youth tournaments. We do it for Hatfield, which are adult leagues. We do it at Miller, which is an adult league. And I guess if the WIAA doesn't allow it, that might be a good thing. I mean, I understand why. I agree, you're not doing it at a WIAA event, but why not? Because they don't authorize it. They don't want it to be sold where young kids are participating. Right. No, I get that. I get that. I have a problem connecting how much money we're gonna make with what we might think is best for the kids in this Richmond area. I think there are two separate issues here. I agree, it's hard to come up with money. I would prefer to find alternate ways to offset that $6,000 in lost sales for youth tournaments. Adult leagues, adult tournaments, I have no problem with that. I just think we set the wrong parameters. So that's my opinion.
There's a
Again,
discussion.
I was, originally when this came up, I did think that it was okay concerns about that, but finding out that it is upstairs and protected, and then after report from the chief, hasn't been any events. I mean, I also live 500 feet from there. I haven't had any question. I mean, not that that would affect me, but I haven't had any problem. So I guess I look at it, even though you say, oh, that's an adult tournament up there at Hatfield or whatever. When I go up to them adult tournaments, there's a whole lot of young kids running around up there. There's a whole lot of young kids running around up there, just as many as there are at the hockey arena. And in fact, up there, people are walking all over. They're walking in the stands with their alcohol. They're walking all over out there with it. This is in an area. Am I understanding that right? Correct? You're upstairs? So I can differentiate that out because of that situation. I would have voted no if running all over in the stands, because I can understand that. So I don't know. And then I think, like last week, we have this thing, and you know, they were up and down the streets. Parents are responsible. I mean, I don't know. No one's caught any kids up there. I didn't think so. I am.
So Greg, I'd have a question with you, being involved with the school. Why wouldn't the WIA allow this at their tournaments?
Never allow any smoking or any alcohol or anything at any.
But why?
But why? Why wouldn't they?
Because that's the rules.
It's their rules.
Probably a good idea. I mean, I think the WIA does a good job with their rules, so they think it's a good rule.
Anyway, again, it has to do with the location for me and how it's set up.
City Attorney Nick Vivian, are you involved with the Hudson Hockey Association?
Look at his eye, he must be.
I
Sorry,
am,
Nick.
yeah.
Does the Hudson have alcohol for sale at their youth tournaments?
Not at youth. Hudson has a junior program, the Hudson Havoc.
What
and-
junior program is what age?
Up.
So adults, I guess. We're close to that anyhow.
Yeah, there are still youth attendees at those events.
Right.
But they do have a limited beer license, I believe, for those games.
And have you been involved in discussion as to why? I'm assuming this question has come up there to offer it at youth events?
Well, it's come up before the city. I mean, it's the city's policy not to allow alcohol sales at youth sporting events. You know, that being said, licenses are privileges, they're not rights, and they're subject to policy and the discretion of the council. And each community views this issue differently. And so, you know, certainly you have the right to consider the issues that impact this particular community based on, you know, your philosophy on alcohol at any sporting events, frankly. So it's not, there's no bright line if that's the question, and it's a matter of priority and importance to each community.
Yeah, I struggle with the fact, and Chief, I appreciate that you've given us the kind of, hey, last year we didn't have any issues. Quite frankly, I guess as I think back to this, I was a little surprised that I supported it last year. I just don't like the idea. It's all about alcohol. That's how we're going to raise money. And we understand that it's an unbelievably small amount. And I appreciate what you're saying, Angela, that, well, you got more tournaments, so the revenue from that would be more. But I think I personally, as a citizen in Richmond, have supported youth hockey. Have never had any involvement with it in terms of my kids or family members. The city certainly has. I just think we got to find another way to raise money. That's how I feel. And interestingly enough, some of your members of your association have talked to me not in support of this. I have a business in town who's not in support of this. So I think the discussion about that all the bars in town are happy and fine with this, that's not true. Your membership at large is not 100% in support of this. I'm not trying to be the referee. I come at this from the standpoint of, I think this idea that we put this stuff in front of young people, yeah, I understand and I don't even think it's right to say a restricted area, because I understand the kids are allowed up there. Just like you would say the kids are allowed in the bar. But this is a youth sporting event. As far as I'm concerned, the messaging of alcohol is way too great in society as it is. And it's an issue for young people. And I just don't think, for what we're talking about here, I just don't think we need to do that. So to say that it's okay, unfortunately, I think there's a lot of things that are applied in society today, and this has nothing to do with hockey, that people are making the justification that there are certain things okay because it represents some type of financial reward. And that's just not something I can sign off on.
No, you haven't had any problems yet, but you're going to. Well, I'm not in favor of it.
It's a one-year application every year.
No, we shouldn't have done it last year, as far as I'm concerned.
Did do it
so-
last year, but is this,
Yearly
next
application.
year they'll have to do the same thing.
Yeah, they would have to apply again, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
so
we're on
what
that.
I'm saying is, we've monitored it in the past, there's been no issues. We'll continue to monitor it. If you give them a one-year extension, we'll be monitoring it, and if there's issues or problems, maybe next year we vote it down.
I think the issue is, if I think back to the 1970s when we used to see cigarette commercials, advertisement everywhere, and the federal government said it's not good for young people, so we're going to ban that. Okay, we're going to take it away from being in front of them. And I'm just, okay, I'm a non-drinker. I guess you can go ahead and throw stones at me. I don't apologize for that, and I don't throw stones at people who choose to consume alcohol. That's not the point. Is everything we have to do have to be around, okay, kids, here's alcohol. Mom or dad's going upstairs to get a drink while you're just got done playing and I understand. I guess they go out to their car sometimes and get it out of the trunk, right? Does this make it better? I'm not asking you to answer that. That's just what I've been told, okay? But I understand, I know what that culture is, and it happens a lot. I don't think this makes it better, making it more accessible. That's just the camp that I'm in. Nothing against the Hockey Association. I wish it the greatest success in the world. I would love to see this stuff happen without alcohol being part of it when there's kids of this age.
Let's call for the question now, because I think everybody knows where they're going. And let's vote on it, okay?
The motion was
Motion
to approve.
the application as presented.
And Greg seconded.
Correct. Alderman Vries,
No,
Alderman Weinmeier,
No,
Alderman Gartner, Alderman Volkert, Alderman Montello,
No.
Alderman Kittle,
Yes.
Motion fails. Next item. Resolution 122406, 2025 sewer rate adjustment.
And council, as part of the 2025 budget process, we look and evaluate our multiple rates. The sewer rate was evaluated as part of the budget process. This also comes in regards to recommendations as part of the 2022 sewer rate study that was conducted by Trilogy Consulting, which really takes an annual approach to ensure that the sewer utility is keeping up with inflationary costs, as well as allowing enough debt service coverage to support the upgrades that occurred in Ellsworth at the biosolids processing facility there. Over the last several years, we've been doing anywhere between a 4% and 5% annual increase. Last year, that increase was slightly larger at 10% to accommodate for the debt service that was kicking in for that phase 0.5, that initial phase of improvement Ellsworth. So this evening, we have before you for consideration, this was incorporated in the 2025 budget that was approved in November, but the resolution is what the formal process is in order to put the new proposed rate structure in place. It would be a 5% recommended increase in the sewer rate. On an average residential household, the impact would be about $1.68 per month, or just over $20 per year. Underneath this proposal, we'd be recommending the rate structure to go in effect on January 23rd of 2025. So customers would be seeing that first new bill come out during the March 8th cycle. The Utility Commission also made a vote on this during the November 7th meeting, which they unanimously make the recommendation to City Council to adopt the rates before you this evening. Happy to answer any questions that you may have, but otherwise the resolution, we'd be looking for action on that this evening.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to offer a motion that we approve Resolution 122406 to increase the sewer utility rates by 5% beginning January 23rd, 2025.
second. And Rand, this 5% increase now really has nothing to do with the biodigester that we had talked about at one time. Not listening. Oh, man. Ron, you missed it.
Don't be an instigator.
I know.
You're getting laughed at, Ron.
I'm
Yeah,
laughing,
just
but.
move it around.
What was that about?
We'll get it later.
Talk about it later.
Newer digester.
We're approving it tonight.
It was a joke.
Any other discussion? If not, take the roll, please.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner, Alderman Volkert,
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle.
Yes.
Alderman Vreese.
Yes.
Motion passes. Final plat application, Gloverdale First Edition.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have a few applications to present to you tonight, so I will be very brief, and feel free to stop me if you have any questions. This first application is from Twin Cities Land Development on behalf of Creative Home Construction Investment for a final plat application for Gloverdale First Edition. The addition consists of 13 single-family lots, which were approved as a part of the Gloverdale preliminary plat for 60 lots in July of 2023. The addition is located west of County Road A at the intersection of Creekwood Drive and Applegate Road. And this final plat is subject to city staff review and city council review. As far as layout, it is one straight road north and then a cul-de-sac at the end of it. There is a sidewalk on the west side which will continue from the original Gloverdale.
And there's no room for a through road. It's off into the,
Correct, it goes
Okay.
up into wetlands
Yep.
to the Willow River Bluffs development.
Yep.
For parkland, they dedicated outlots A and B for stormwater and wetland, and so they will need to pay park impact fees in lieu of parkland at the time of building permit applications. City staff recommend approval of the final plat application with 5 conditions, and the 5 conditions are all standard: street lighting, street signage, construction commencement, a development agreement, and impact fees. I'm happy to answer questions. We also have Christine with Twin Cities Land Development here as well.
Let's hear a motion, then we can go to questions.
Mr. Mayor, I'll offer that motion that we approve the final plat application with the following 5 conditions, if I got that right, for Gloverdale First Edition.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? Take the roll, please.
Alderman Volkert,
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle.
yes.
Alderman Vreese.
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner.
Motion passes. Certified survey map application, David Tyvoll.
David Tyvoll submitted a CSM for 313 North First Street. This parcel is located east of North Montana Avenue between North First Street and North Second Street. The applicant is seeking to subdivide, which will result in 2 lots. Proposed lot 1 on the south is 0.204 acres and currently occupied by a single-family home. Proposed lot 2 on the north is 0.206 acres and is currently undeveloped. Again, lot 1 is developed, lot 2 is not, and so upon future development, the lot 2 will connect to municipal utilities, which are located under North First Street. There is a slightly larger 15-foot drainage and utility easement on the west side of lot 1 to allow for the new water and sewer laterals to come up the west side of the property to lot 2. The applicant will be responsible for all connection costs, including restoration of asphalt and concrete on North First Street, and then work in the right-of-way permit will be required for any work in the street. Plan Commission and city staff recommend approval of the CSM with no conditions.
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Discussion? Take the roll, please, Christie. Michelle?
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle.
Yes.
Alderman Vreese.
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner,
Yes.
Alderman Volkert.
Yes.
Passes. Next item, certified survey map application, City of New Richmond.
Did we miss Steve Helene?
Oh, wait a second.
Steve Helene.
7.6.
Certified survey map application, Steve Helene. Ahead of myself.
There you go. Steve Helene submitted a CSM application for a parcel located north of 195th Avenue. This parcel was attached to the city in July of 2024. The applicant is seeking to create 4 new lots, which will range in size from 2.081 acres to 2.474 acres. All 4 of the lots are accessible via 195th Avenue, which access will need to be granted by the town of Star Prairie. The only abnormality with this one is that 195th is classified as a collector road, and so therefore the applicant is proposing to dedicate an additional 7 feet of land as public right-of-way for the road. For utilities, the closest water and sewer mains are located to the southeast at the Freedom Center Park site. If desired for future development, the applicant will have the opportunity to go before the Utility Commission to receive permission for private well and septic. And future development will need to follow city ordinances at the time that city water and sewer are made available. The Plan Commission and city staff recommend approval of the certified survey map with 4 conditions.
Your motion.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion, any discussion? Not, take the roll, please.
Alderman Kittle,
Yes.
Alderman Breeze.
Yes.
Alderman Weidmeyer,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner,
Yes.
Alderman Volkert,
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Motion passes. Now, certified survey map application, City of New Richmond.
The City of New Richmond submitted a certified survey map on behalf of Thone Property Investments II for a parcel located north of County Road K. The parcel is adjacent to the Fox Run subdivision. The applicant is seeking to create 1 new 0.794 acre lot, Lot 1, which is the proposed future site of a new water tower, a new city water tower. Lot 1 will be accessible via Otter Way, which currently extends through Fox Run 2nd Edition. Upon future development, the developer will be responsible for paving Otter Way out to Lot 1. There's a 60-foot access easement shown on the CSM that goes from Fox Run 2nd to the Lot 1, and a separate access easement document will need to be recorded. City staff and the Plan Commission recommend approval of the CSM with 1 condition regarding a separate access easement. The Plan Commission approved this application with 2 conditions. The second was regarding drainage and utility easements, and that has been addressed since the Plan Commission meeting last week, so now it's just down to 1 condition.
I'll offer a motion that we approve the certified survey map for the city of New Richmond with the 1 requirement, a condition outlined.
Second,
Second,
any discussion?
can a trail be built on this?
Could we put a future trail on it?
Yeah.
Why would you want, we're putting the water tower there.
Yeah, we need, not every inch of it.
But there's city lots on both sides, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sidewalk.
Yeah, so whenever there would be a final plat application for this part of the development,
Yep.
we would look to see if there's gonna be sidewalks or trails or how they'd wanna lay that area out.
That'd be in the
So-
future, we could,
Yeah, so
look into
this
this.
is, this parcel itself is a little bit on an island, so to speak, just because they haven't platted those areas. So we have some concepts of what that might look like in the future, but, so we would look to see, how that area all connects eventually.
so could there be a trail built from Whispering Prairie to Fox Run? Would that be in this, anywhere in this location?
So this parcel is located towards the northeast area of Fox Run.
Yeah.
But
To connect those two is what I'm saying.
Well, there's 40 acres
There's
in
there's still private property in between the two.
Yeah.
So at this point, there
Not
wouldn't
city
be-
land.
Correct,
Okay.
right,
So it would have to be developed to be able to ask for that.
right. Yeah, unless the city wanted to outright purchase property.
Yeah, I don't,
But yeah, there's still some privately owned parcels in between there.
Okay.
You know, when we would
But on
look
this
at a-
portion, we'd be okay with that,
Yeah, so
if we could get it
when
fit-
we
to
have a
fit in
final
there.
plat for this area of Fox Run, I mean, we do want to look ahead, you know, while there's private property in between today, in the future, there could be a road extending through there or
Easements,
something.
yeah.
So we would look at, you know, like the far eastern edge of the development, you wouldn't want to have that all be private property, and now there's no way to have a future connection there.
Okay.
So at this time, you know, it just kind of depends on what that future area will look like and if and when it develops.
And that's what I'm thinking about the future.
Yeah, it could be a couple of years from now, it could be 10 years from now.
Yeah. But it's possible on this portion of it anyway.
Yep.
Okay.
Other questions? Not, take the roll, please.
Alderman Vries,
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner, Alderman Volkert,
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle.
Yes.
Motion passes. Preliminary Resolution 122407, vacation of public right-of-way.
So Dormer Street was platted as public right-of-way as a part of Uber's addition in 1965. And the street was never constructed, nor are there any plans to do so in the future. You can see on the map, there was a little red arrow pointing to the section that we're proposing we vacate. It goes right into Mary Lake or the Willow River. And so it's not feasible that we would build a road straight out to there. And so city staff feels it's in public interest to discontinue this portion of right-of-way as it will not be utilized for its platted purpose. A portion of Dormer Street that is west of North Shore Drive has already been vacated. The right-of-way process, the introduction of this preliminary resolution is the first step of many. Following steps include public notice, notifying neighboring property owners, holding a public hearing at a plan commission meeting, and then a final resolution will be reintroduced to City Council for approval. So again, this is just a preliminary resolution to start the process. Per Wisconsin statutes, the vacated land is to be equally divided between property owners on each side of the portion. And so the northern half of the property would be vacated to Willow River Lakes. Technically, it's Francis Fields Lot 1. And then the southern portion of land would be vacated to the Tenors. City staff recommend approval of the preliminary resolution as presented.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to offer a motion that we approve Resolution 122407 to initiate the vacation of public right-of-way as presented.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I have a question. Does anybody happen to know, have tenors been taking care of this land? They've been mowing it?
I think they have been,
Yes.
yeah.
I understand you said that state statute. Do we have to equally divide it?
Yes,
We have no options.
correct.
I'd sure like to do something for the property owner that's been taking care of it when they didn't have to and it wasn't their land. But you're telling me we can't.
Yep, state statute says it has to be equally divided.
Have a bigger backyard then, or a front yard?
It would be a side yard.
Side yard? Oh.
The question I have is, obviously, this was initially put in here for maybe access to the lake. Anybody have any history on why that right-of-way would have been there in the first place?
She said they were going to build a street.
But, yeah, a street to get to the lake,
Maybe.
lake or river access.
Yeah, I mean, none of us were here at that time, but it was, when we look at even the date of the original plat, I mean, it was obviously several decades ago when it was initially platted. So it could be that, you know, it was a future street, not knowing. Now, obviously, some of that you get into wetland, you know, so on paper you look at that and you kind of wonder why that would have been done, but, you know, it may have been, let's just plat it so we've got the right-of-way in the future if we ever need it. But as far as our staff are concerned, there's never been any discussion about extending a road or doing anything there with it, so. And there are a
Very
few
good area
other,
for a boat landing there.
yeah.
I fished a lot.
You were close by. You must have been in your late teens in 1965. You'd have a better chance of knowing anybody about what the thought was there.
And
He
there-
didn't care at that time.
No, I'm always concerned about we're giving up, obviously, a way to access the lake or river. That was the only question I have. I'm not necessarily against it. I haven't thought that much about it. Kind of picked this up this morning when I was reading this, and I'm like,
Keep in mind that we do have a boat ramp at Mary Park.
oh, we got several access points, but really nothing on the north side.
Could it have
Got-
been a thought of accessing Oak Ridge over there?
Could have been, yeah. There's a few others that, in early 2025 that we'll bring forward as well, that in older areas of town where very similar situation, you wonder, was there going to be a road, or maybe at one point it was an alley, now that alley isn't there, or it may have been even for utility purposes, but just kind of speculation, I guess, at this point.
Any other questions? Take the roll, please.
Alderman Weinmeier,
Yes.
Alderman Gartner,
Yes.
Alderman Volkert,
Yes.
Alderman Montello,
Yes.
Alderman Kittle,
Yes.
Alderman Breeze.
Yes.
Passes. Next item, ordinance 618, text amendments pertaining to minimum parking requirements, Development Review Committee, and approval process for certified survey map and conditional use permit applications.
I'll take this one for this evening. I'll break these in just to the three sections. The first is the approval process for certified survey maps, extraterritorial certified survey maps, as well as conditional use permits. So currently, CSMs go to the Plan Commission and to the council. So tonight you approved some other CSMs. If this proposal was adopted tonight, going forward, the CSMs would only go to the Plan Commission. So those items that were on here tonight, those would have just been approved last week, and they would have just stopped right there. The conditional use permits currently only go to the Plan Commission. So currently, there isn't a very big difference between a site plan and a conditional use permit, with the exception that the conditional use permit gets noticed in the newspaper and there's a public hearing. Typically, a conditional use permit is going to be a little more controversial. There may have the potential for a more adverse impact on a neighborhood. And so currently that only goes to the Plan Commission. What we'd be proposing is that would go to the Plan Commission and to the council. So an example of a conditional use permit from a few years back that some of you were on the council for would have been the Quick Trip on the north end of town. So the council approved the CSM, but the conditional use permit for the actual gas station convenience store actually didn't come to the council. It only went to the Plan Commission. So going forward, that would go to both bodies. So that's one of the proposed edits that we're looking at for this evening. The other is in regards to the Development Review Committee. Using that word committee, oftentimes people think of our other boards and commissions in the city. What is called today our Development Review Committee is just consisting of members of city staff. And so just to avoid confusion of boards, commissions, committees, not referring it to as a Development Review Committee. If you're an applicant and you say, okay, the Development Review Committee, who's on that, or when are their meetings, where are meeting minutes? Well, that's just city staff doing their normal job duties. And so just for point of clarification, we would be changing that. And then the other change is regards to parking requirements. Currently, in terms of the review of parking, it's just subject to approval of the Public Works Director. So we'd proposing that parking be reviewed by the Plan Commission, just like they review the rest of an application, just like they look at the lighting and the landscaping and everything else. And then currently, the language just refers to best engineering judgment. Well, that's kind of a vague term, and depending which engineer you talk to, that may mean different things. And so we wanted to provide some more detail there of what kinds of factors we look at when it comes to parking on a site. Trying to strike a right balance of knowing that every project's a little unique in terms of its location. Is there on-street parking available next to it? Is there a public parking lot? Is a project located in the downtown or an industrial park or out on the outskirt of town? And knowing that even for commercial or industrial businesses, their parking needs really vary depending on what type of business they have, how many employees they have, what type of customer base they have. But still at the same time, not just saying, well, best engineering practice. And And so we tried to add a little more detail to that section. So these items were discussed last week at the Plan Commission level. If the council was comfortable tonight, you could approve all of them. If there's one of these that you want to have more discussion on, none of these are time sensitive by any means, so it's not that it has to be adopted tonight. But happy to answer any questions you might have.
I guess at the Plan Commission, what we did state, Ron was talking about this too, was that instead of DRC, we're going to have city staff development review, but not have committee on there. And we wanted an asterisk there, so at the bottom can be stated who the city staff are. I think that was Ron's concern, is that you just say city staff, that doesn't tell you. So if somebody going to this now, it clarifies who actually is on the city staff development review.
What position they are.
Exactly, what
Yeah.
positions, and I think that's what Ron was requesting.
No, you
Not
just
not
have
the
their
person's
position.
name, just their position, because the name can change, that can change all the time, but the position of that person that would be on the city staff development review. That's how we wanted to state it then.
Yeah, so that's reflected in the ordinance. So under 12124, it says composition. So it says the city staff development review process shall incorporate the professional backgrounds and expertise of multiple city departments to review development applications in great detail from multiple lenses. The staff involved shall include, but not be limited to, the chief of police, fire chief, city engineer, public works superintendent, election, and so forth. So, so if somebody looks to see that, it spells those out. And it does leave flexibility. It says additional staff or outside consultants at the direction of the city administrator may also assist. So we also don't want to say, all right, 5 years from now, we add a new position, and we say, well, they can't be part of the review process. We get that flexibility.
So I'm prepared to offer a motion actually with a point of emphasis on one thing and a change relative to parking. I don't know if everybody's appetite is to do this tonight or they want to wait. Not hearing any objection, I'm going to offer a motion that we approve. I'm going to start on the parking side. We're going to do this as one motion. Nor would you like it as two?
You can do it as one. That's fine.
Okay, starting with the parking, we need language in there. That's my motion, is to add for residential development, the goal is to provide off-street parking equal to 1.5 parking stalls per residential unit. So if it's a single-family home, they got to have room for 1.5 automobiles. If it's a duplex, I mean, it's all the same. It doesn't matter, but per unit, whether it's an apartment or the house, that's the goal. It's not a requirement, but that's the goal. And for the benefit of anybody who wonders why I feel that's important, first of all, doesn't have anything to do with commercial, but just residential, because the way it is right now is that if a developer wants to do a residential project and they come in and they say, well, all right, I'm going to have this many units and I'm going to have, let's just say, half as many parking stalls as there are units. I'll give you a crazy example. It's really then would be incumbent on city staff or a member of the Plan Commission to say, you know, I don't feel good about that. I don't have any engineering background, but I just don't feel good about that. It would be incumbent on the people that are responding to the developer. So if we say, well, no, here's the goal. If the developer wants something less than that, they have to provide the information as to why it should be less. Doesn't mean it can't be, but they have to provide the information on why it could be less. BB Lofts, a great example where it works and it makes sense for that development with the type of facility it is, but the fact that they have on-street parking available to supplement their off-street parking. So my motion is to this required parking for residential development. The goal is to provide 1.5 parking stalls for every residential unit. So an apartment is 1 residential unit. The duplex has got 2 residential units. A single-family house is 1, but it's just residential. And then relative to the development review discussion, my motion is that it's just city staff identifying the positions who weighed in. It doesn't need development review because as I've understood it for years, that's really flux. It might be this person, it might be that person. It kind of is, we bring in who's needed to weigh in. So I don't know that the word development review needs to be part of that. Just city staff, and then as you have expressed, Mayor, identify who
Well,
the
that's what it-
staff positions are, right? But it doesn't, just says city staff and by position. It doesn't need to say development review.
Well, I think that's what it is, though, because then people understand.
Sure, but the point is that city staff are really making a recommendation to the planning commission
For
in this
development
particular.
review.
Well, I understand that, but the planning commission, I get the heartburn that exists there. We had development review committee, and people say, oh, what are their minutes? They don't have minutes. What's their agenda? Well, they don't have an agenda.
Not a committee anymore, that's what we're taking
No, I
out.
understand that. So, I mean, if it says development review, I wouldn't lose sleep over
Because that's
that.
what
But
they're
I'm just
doing,
saying, yes,
is
I
city
understand.
staff doing the development
But
review.
I think it's important that the staff has identified who weighed in on a
That's
particular
what
issue.
Noah has in there right now.
So
They're
that-
going to be identified.
Sorry, I'm sure that's real concise, Michelle.
I was gonna ask you to read that back.
I'm going to read that back if we're just going to have Christy rewind the
We vote on
YouTube
that first
video.
one first, about the parking. Let's do that first.
I'm gonna just offer a motion, then let me withdraw that if I'm allowed to do that. Nick?
Can I stop you for a second, though?
Oh, please.
You've got the black eye, so I'm not gonna argue.
Before a motion is made. So this is, currently it's structured as a single ordinance, but comments and feedback have been offered in a few different places. And additionally, when you start to parse residential units, I was asking Noah if we define residential units elsewhere in the code. I don't know whether we do or whether we don't, and we may need to, that comment may require then that we also define non-residential units or commercial units or other types of units. And so my suggestion might be that we take the comments, and if council is on board with the comments, then we update and incorporate and confirm against the rest of the code and bring you an updated draft at the next meeting so that it's a comprehensive draft that includes everything and that we're not just trying to piecemeal it without comparing against the rest of the code for additional changes that would be required.
So with that being said, Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna offer a motion that we, suggest that
Table it.
these changes be adopted. No, that they would be adopted. They wanna redraft the ordinance,
Well,
but
yeah,
with
so
what
then
do
we'll
they
bring it
want
back
in it?
next time to
But I'm
clarify
saying
it.
that these are the
Commission?
changes.
Table it.
This already went through planning commission?
So this went to planning commission last week. They recommended approval.
This is the recommendations.
And then, yes.
Okay.
And then, so if the council approved it, essentially next meeting, it could even be under consent, you would see the final red lines and that would reflect Mike's motion. So it wouldn't necessarily have to be a motion to table, because next month you'd have
I
to.
think it'd just be
But if it's
easier.
going to be a red line, we don't know what the red line is yet.
No, that's the point,
Correct,
is
right.
I'm
So you would see
taking,
it at the next meeting.
right, I'm taking their language and
Yeah.
I'm specifically adding this one
Right.
thing. If you agree with that, then they can do the research and draft the ordinance to be that way. But we're just trying to define what we want the ordinance
What
to
I would
say.
just, I would just saying separate these. Have
No,
this
that's fine.
Separate motion for this part, and then we'll go to the next
Well, I
one.
agree, but that's what I'm doing, but I'm offering a motion specifically to the language we're supporting for this ordinance, for them to do their research and come back with the proper form. So it's just, is the council accepting of their language with an addition, identifying that we want it to apply to residential, and I get all your points, Nick, but that the goal is for 1.5 parking spaces per residential unit. So that's really the motion I'm putting out there, is
Right.
to the council to say, yeah, we support that, then they'll do the work and come back with the ordinance.
And the motion,
does-
probably more clearly, the motion would be to direct staff to present the council with an update that includes.
That's
And
exactly
we'll
what
vote
I
on
was
it next
thinking.
time.
Okay, that's.
You
I was
read
just
the
gonna
bubble
ask you
above
what-
my
it-
head.
It didn't seem to quite mesh with
Yeah.
what you were saying
Yeah.
there, so, okay.
Yeah,
So-
otherwise you'd be approving something and you don't even know.
Well, that's what I was
the
saying.
Language
Yeah.
that.
You're going
yeah.
to redline something, we don't know what it is. So you're going to approve staff to research this then?
Yep, but with the
what
addition
you
that
want
I was
included.
suggesting. Yep.
With,
Do that.
I will second that.
I already seconded.
Any further discussion?
So
This
with
is
both
just on the
points, Mike,
parking.
or just
Understand, what exactly does the vote mean? I wanna.
the other one is staff?
They're going to research it and bring it
Yeah.
back.
Yes.
Okay.
So a vote yes would be directing staff to correct the ordinance with the suggested changes, which are the two separate that were listed. The one, the parking language that is 1.5 per dwelling unit, and then also the identifying city staff
this-
department.
We're just doing parking.
Oh, this
This
is
one will be
just
just
parking?
parking
You're
right
gonna
now,
take
then we'll go
the
to-
I don't know
staff
how you
off.
got confused about that, Michelle. I thought it was as
Okay.
clear as could
So everybody,
be.
okay, this
I
is just the
can't
parking.
even believe I made that mistake. Okay,
I can't either.
I just want to
I
read this
know.
in the news. This is going to be funny.
How you
Okay.
write things down?
This is, they're,
only parking.
they're gonna bring him back next meeting for us to vote on it then.
Next
With the
month.
correct language.
Month.
You got that, reporter? You got that?
Vote, please.
All right, Alderman Volkert. Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle.
Yes, I
Alderman
think.
Breeze.
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier.
Yes.
Alderman Gartner.
Motion
then-
passes.
And then, Mr. Mayor, relative to the Plan Commission, recommend revising the approval process for applications that we direct staff, to research that and come back with using city staff instead of Development Review Committee, and then identifying which position codes weighed in on a particular item.
W City Staff Development Review, and then defining who's gonna be,
Who did it? Who made a recommendation?
Okay, so that's as presented, basically?
Yeah, but with the caveat that we will identify who the staff, what
That's in there.
staff positions. Does it say that?
positions of the staff.
In there.
I think Noah has that already, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the composition, so in your packet, ordinance 618, towards the bottom of page 1, section 121-24, under composition, it lists those out. So I think that may address what you're looking for, Mike.
That's in there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry,
You have a
Craig, I
problem
don't
with the
see.
city staff or
No,
city
it's city
development?
staff and then, no, the point is that it's city staff. We got that.
Yep,
In development review, that's what they're doing.
yep.
But then what positions weighed in?
It's right above it. In composition, part 1.
Yeah, I think Noah's clarify what it,
I'm reading, I'm
The
sorry.
staff involved, the staff included and not limited to police chief, chief, engineer, works, electric superintendent, water superintendent.
Sorry, I was reading farther down. I didn't
Additional
see
staff or outside consultants at the direction of the administrator. Right up there.
that. Is that in our packet here?
Yeah, so there's a memo, and then the ordinance itself would be the actual language in there, but
Yeah, okay, I didn't see
So
that.
if
Yeah, if
you're-
it's in there, we're good then.
if you're comfortable
It's
with
in
that,
there.
or again, if you want to take time to look through it and wait till next month, that's totally fine.
Well, again,
I-
we're just directing staff to put
Yeah,
the final
yep,
touches on it, I
exactly.
guess.
everybody good?
So you want to make a motion to approve as presented?
That,
I would make a motion to approve has been a motion made?
There's been a motion made by Alderman Montello.
Okay,
Wait a second?
not that I know of.
and my motion, basically,
Is what?
if you would, by the time you typed it out, it probably said as presented? Yeah. that's
What
I
did?
thought.
Well, then we're good.
Any further discussion? Take the roll, please.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle.
Yes?
Alderman Breeze.
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier.
Yes.
Alderman Gartner. Alderman Volkert.
Motion passes. We're done with that, right?
Additional permit to vote on?
Yeah, so then the other remaining piece, if you wanted to take action tonight, was regards to the certified survey map and conditional use permit.
It will come back to us.
Yeah, conditional use permits would go to council, CSMs would just stop at the plan commission.
Your motion approved.
I'd make a motion to approve that.
I'll second it.
12132.
Discussion?
Alderman Kittle.
Yes?
Alderman Breeze.
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier.
Yes.
Alderman Gartner.
Yes.
Alderman Volkert. Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Passes. Next item, bids for portable generators.
So this item was reviewed by the Utility Commission at their meeting last week. So included in the memo lists the bids. The bid deadline was on November 20th. You can see a wide range. This project was included in our 2024 capital improvement plan. Currently, we have one backup generator. In this case, we would be declaring that surplus, and then we would have 2 portable ones. Just given the number of lift stations that we have throughout the city, we see value in having 2 of them. And our current one, you could argue, is actually oversized for what we would need. So the recommendation from the Utility Commission was to accept the low bid from Colorado Standby in the amount of $73,791 for the 2 Generac generators, and then also to declare our 2006 generator as surplus, and that would be auctioned off. And then proceeds would help offset the cost of the new ones.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? Take the roll, please.
Alderman Breeze.
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier.
Yes.
Alderman Gartner.
Yes.
Alderman Volkert. Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next item, 3-phase transformer purchase.
This item also was reviewed by the Utility Commission last week. In accordance with our purchasing policy, anytime we have purchases over $25,000, those come to the council. In this case, we are looking at a transformer to serve the new library project. Included in the memo, you can see there were 3 distributors or manufacturers and the unit costs, ranging from $28,415 up to $42,949. The recommendation from staff and the Utility Commission would be to proceed with the purchase of the 3-phase transformer through RESCO for a total cost of $28,415.
Mayor, I'll make that motion to approve the ERMCO three-phase transformer for a total of $28,415.
Second it.
Any discussion? Take the roll, please.
Alderman Weinmeier.
Yes.
Alderman Gartner.
Yes.
Alderman Volkert.
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle.
Yes.
Alderman Breeze.
Yes.
Motion passes. 2024 third quarter tourism funding recommendations.
And council, again, at the November 19th Tourism Committee, there were 4 applications that were reviewed. 3 are being brought forward this evening for recommendation to fund. The first being Halos of St. Croix Valley for their 14th annual Memorial Walk/Run in the amount of $4,262. The Corn Fest that was held from the New Richmond Area Community or the Center in $110, and then to the City of New Richmond Whispering Hills Disc Golf Course, $7,900 as a reimbursement for the shelter construction.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the transactions from the room tax revenues of those 3 listed.
Second.
Discussion?
Alderman Gartner.
Yes.
Alderman Volkert.
Yes.
Alderman Montello.
Yes.
Alderman Kittle.
Yes.
Alderman Breeze.
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier.
Yes.
Motion passes. Any communication or miscellaneous?
I mean, obviously, Toys for Tots collection site here at the City of New Richmond. Our box is overflowing. We're very excited about it. It's going to be empty, though, again this week, and we have an opportunity to refill it. So we are at the city specifically focusing on gifts for infants, toys for infants, and teenagers. Those are 2 demographics that are often overlooked at toy drops. So if anybody wants to participate, the box is accessible during office hours. And then also, I forwarded this to council and the mayor. There is a public hearing, St. Croix County, regarding some waste storage amendments. The public hearing is taking place there was a public hearing on December 19th. So I'll include that information in the minutes for people, but it is available on St. Croix County's website.
Just a couple items I had. The Kitty Rhodes Memorial Memory Care Center will be opening. They're going to be having an open house on Thursday, December 19th from 5 to 7 p.m. So that's the 10-bed memory care unit up at the County Health Center. And that actually hasn't been open, even though the health center's been open now for several years. So they'll have an open house and tours for the community if anyone's interested. And then just one final comment I had, I think everyone on the council is aware that Adam Jackson from our water department passed away recently. So just wanted to, again, express our condolences to his family and asked for thoughts and prayers to him and his loved ones. They had a private funeral and then a public celebration of life over the weekend. So thoughts of his family, and thanks for the support from the council during this time.
Yeah, I just wanted to highlight our school resource officer, Officer Aaron Anderson, put together a Shop with a Hero program. We shopped with 47 children last week. Actually, 46 out of 47, one didn't show. But special thanks, one to Officer Anderson for coordinating all that stuff. A number of officers from the Richmond Police Department, along with St. Croix County Sheriff's Department, Somerset PD, Roberts PD, Glenwood City PD, came over to help us because obviously shopping with 47 kids is a tall order. So, and this year's theme was buying for others. So these kids came and shopped with the mentality that they were buying for somebody else in their family, not for themselves. So it was a pretty special day.
Else? Hear a motion to go in closed session per state statute 19.851G.
I'll make the motion.
Second?
I guess Ron seconded. Take the roll, please.
Alderman Volkert? Alderman Montello?
Yes.
Alderman Kittle?
Yes.
Alderman Vries?
Yes.
Alderman Weinmeier?
Yes.
Alderman Gardner?
Yes.
We're in closed session. Anybody want to take a quick break? Keep her going.
This conference is no longer being recorded.